Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's jump right in. Let's talk backstops.
Yes, sir. So I'm like I said, Lakeland coach here in Florida. I had the privilege of being around some great catchers. We have an organization. We have one that could possibly get drafted this year. So I take very pride in catching, and I started catching about 9 years ago. Started doing catching and being more consistent with it about 9 years ago. So I love doing that every day. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Are we good? Okay, so I'm going to start off talking to you guys about what I do here at Lakeland and how we run practice and what is our daily routine each and every day. So,
hey, Coach, yes, can you go slideshow for me, please, like from the beginning?
Yes, sir.
Full screen it. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
So every season we start off with a meeting. We go over what is our plan for the season, what our goals are, and what our schedule is. And right now we have 4 catchers, and all of them on varsity right now. And we're still developing some JV catchers. So we talk about what does it take to be an elite catcher. Okay, so we want to be a leader on the field. We don't have to be vocal, as in getting aggressive on players or yelling at players, but we want to lead them by example. Okay, so talk to your players, show by example your work ethic, your catching, that you're confident in your ability to play the game and to catch. So that's what we talk about first. We got to be communicators. Okay, so we're leaders on the field, and we're like the quarterback of the field. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the players know what's going on. Is we need to be more knowledgeable. Okay, so when we're more knowledgeable, we could be able to lead our players and be more confident on the field and be great communicators. So that's what we talk about. We need to adapt to tough conditions. Okay, so last year we had a rough season, so we have to be able to adapt to those conditions, because our team is believing in us and they're putting all their trust in us. So we need to make sure that we could adapt with those. We could be confident, we could be positive, and be there for our team. We talk about ability to be another coach on the field. Okay, so us coaches can go out there only a certain amount of time. So if we understand our pitching staff and we understand our players as catchers, we could be that second coach on the field. We always talk about Yadier Molina, how he's another coach on the field. He knows what's going on. He knows how to call the game. He knows how to deal with his pitchers. He knows when he needs to go out there and slow them down, or go out there and make sure that the pitcher feels comfortable, okay? Knows that his catcher has his back. So we have to be good coaches on the field. We talk about outwork our competition. Here in Polk County, we have a lot of great catchers. So our goal each and every day is how we can outwork our competition, how we outwork each player, each catcher that we're going to play against each and every day throughout the season, because we believe that we have one of the best districts in the country, and we have a lot of great players within our district. So we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do each and every day to be a better catcher and be better than our competition. We like to compete in practice and games. So within practice, we need to compete against each other. Competition is good. We preach that a lot, that when we're competing against each other, yeah, we have 4 catchers. Yeah, we're all competing for playing time, but it's good because that competition is making our catchers a lot better, and it's going to relate to the games. So I'm going to keep going here. Being prepared every day, every game, before game, our job is to be prepared for that game. Know who's pitching, know what pitches are going to be thrown by that pitcher, know our opponent, know their weaknesses, their strengths. We play teams over and over again in our district, so we need to go over our scouting report and know what we're doing before we get into that game. What we preach to our catchers is being able to adapt to different stances. because in catching, we could be knee down, we could be in the stance, we could be in the hybrid stance, we could be in the secondary. We have to be able to know what stances that we could be in for certain pitches and how that'll work for us and will it be the most efficient for us. So we have to be adaptable to that. We talk about good relationship with pitching staff. Like I said before, we need to make sure that our pitchers know that they can trust us, that we have their back, and just throw the ball and we're going to catch it. And we're going to make sure that we fight hard for you to win those strike balls and get those pitches called strikes. As catchers, we want to work well with umpires, okay? So what we preach to our catchers is go out there, introduce yourself, introduce you to the umpire, know his name, have a good relationship. Don't get him mad because we want those calls. And when we talk to the umpire, we always talk with our mask on. We look forward, so we never show him up or disrespect him. We're a facilitator on the field. We have to make sure that we're having our players in the right positions because we're seeing the field out in front of us. So we need to make sure that our players are in the right positions. So we're communicating to put them into those right positions. So we need to make sure that we facilitate all our players on the field. I'm very big on paying attention to detail, okay? Because when we practice, sometimes we could just catch the ball, throw it back, or even bullpen, catch the ball, throw in the back. I want to pay attention to detail. I want to pay attention to every single rep that I have. We're working on that detail, working on getting better. Flexibility, mobility, nowadays we need to be very flexible. We need to be able to be mobile. If we need to sway, we need to move quick, and we need to be athletic. That's one of the most important things that we preach to our catchers here at Lakeland is we need to be flexible, meaning stretching every day. We got to be mobile and athletic. So the good thing about 4 catchers that we have is that they all play different positions. Some plays infield, some plays outfield, and that makes them more athletic. And the more athletic you could be, the better you could be behind the plate. So we like to preach that a lot. We go into order of priority. Here, I'm very big on receiving. I'm going to spend more time on receiving than anything else. I feel that if we get those strike balls, call for strike, we fight hard on those corner pitches, that low in the zone pitches, and we get strikes, we can leave runners off the bases. So we're very, I take serious receiving. We have to be able to receive the ball. We have to be able to catch the ball. That's the most important thing before you can do anything else is receive. So we work a lot on receiving. Blocking and throwing come after. This past 2 seasons, we had 20 stolen base attempts. Nobody was really running too much on us because we had 2 catchers that could really throw the ball to second base. So we work on throwing to second, and we work on those transfers and forward, but we're going to do that a little bit at a time. We're going to receive, and we're going to block more. Okay, because I feel like that's the 2 most important things before throwing. Nowadays, not too many people steal, or if you have a good catcher back there that could catch the ball, keep the ball in front of him blocking, maybe they might not run as much. So we did a statistic the last 2 years, and we're receiving and blocking more than throwing. So that's what we're going to work on more. So our stances, there's many stances. There's traditional 2-point stance. There's right knee down, left knee down, right knee down, and a kickstand position, a left knee down kickstand. And then you got your secondary, your hybrid, and then your traditional stance that mid-pitch, you might drop down to one knee to catch that breaking ball that's down or that fastball that's down that you want to beat it to the spot and make sure that it's called a strike. Move it back into the strike zone. Make sure it's called a strike. If we let it travel too deep, now the illusion to the umpire that is too low, he's not going to see it too well, and maybe we don't get that pitch. So with my catchers, I leave it to them. I give them the flexibility to try every stance, see what works for them, and what positions, what pitches are being thrown, and how they could be the most effective, direct to the ball, and being able to receive the ball into the strike zone. So I leave it up to them. There is times that I tell them that, okay, when there's 2 outs or there's a man on base, excuse me, 2 strikes, or if there's a man on base, we're not going to go down, okay? Because we don't have big league pitchers or college pitchers that we know that the ball is going to be where we call it. So we're not going to go down. We're going to prevent that. We're going to be able to block better. Especially then if there's a man on third, we're definitely not going to go down to one knee. So we're going to stay in the traditional stance. So we got to be able to catch in our traditional stance and be able to catch on one knee. So that's what we work on here. As you see right here, I have one of our catchers in different stances. So every year we try out our different stances, see what works and what pitches are thrown. And if it's on the corner of the plate, or if we're asking for the pitch high, we're going to stay up high, a little higher. Or if we're asking for that pitch down, maybe we'll go one knee. So we want them to work on every single stance to make sure that they're comfortable in that stance. Now, each stance varies for different players. If I got a player that's tight, that it's hard to stay in the 2-point stance, maybe we go to one knee. Or if a player's tall, maybe we go to one knee. If I got a player that's more mobile, we could get into different stances, and that's why we got to see what works for that player. So when we talk about our stances, we also talk about angling on pitches. I think a lot of the times that this is not talked about as much. We talk about it a lot, and we found that it's effective for us. It works for us. The umpires like it in our games, and we're getting pitches called strikes. So we're going to angle on the corners. So we angle setups are used for pitches that are on the corners. When a catcher angles to the plate, it allows the umpire to get a better view. Okay, he's sitting in the slot. He has a better view. I mean, if umpire is uncomfortable with you angling, he's going to let you know. But for the most time, we're going to angle. We're going to get those corner pitches because we want that ball going straight to our chest. We don't want to have to reach extension side or reach out for that ball. So if we're staying straight up to the pitcher, now that fastball that's cutting across, that slider's cutting across, now we're reaching, and now it looks like a ball to the umpire and to everybody else on the field. If I angle, now that ball's coming straight to my chest, and I have minimal movement back into the strike zone to present that pitch to the umpire. So we work on this a lot. We're not going to do it with runners on base because we're angling outside. We want to be in a good secondary position. So that's why we don't do that with runners on base. So I'm going to go into receiving. There's a big debate everywhere you go, to every convention, with the new school, old school, how you catch, how the glove is presented. For me, we have a few catchers, and one of our catchers like to catch it with his glove like this. He's able to stay under the ball. He's able to work that pitch back into the strike zone, and that helps him. I have other catchers, we catch with our elbow up a little bit. With our pocket wide is down, I feel that's a little bit better because now that slider that's coming down, that fastball that's cutting across, if we're here, most of the time, if we don't get under it or we don't get to the ball quick enough, our thumb is in the way. So I'd rather be here so I have a bigger pocket and a bigger position for the ball to get in, and now I move it back up into the strike zone. So we teach thumb down to thumb up. And when you present it to the umpire, it's a flat glove with the sign of the glove facing up. So I feel that has worked for us. And our catchers, the catchers that I changed to do that kind of style of catching, they've been successful the last few years. So that's what we work on. We talk about pre-pitch glove movement, which I'll show in the next slide. It's about rhythm and timing. We got to make sure that our pre-pitch is working and our glove is working through the ball into the strike zone. If it's high, if it's a strike, we're going to hold it and make sure that it's a strike. But if it's a strike ball, it's a low percentage pitch, I want to make sure that I fight hard to get to that pitch and make it a strike. Pocket awareness, what I just talked about, wide glove, we're here, making sure that our pocket is to the ball and that we're target spot is right inside here. Okay, we don't want it here. We don't want it off the thumb and possibly break our thumb. And so we want to be elbow slightly high, glove going downwards, and then we work up. Control the pitch. That's most important for us, is control the pitch, and make sure that a strike is a strike. We're not trying to make a strike more than a strike. We're not trying to fool the umpire. We want to make sure we control that pitch. After that pitch is that ball's in our glove, we don't want any more movement after that. So that's why we try to move before we catch the ball, working the ball back into the strike zone if it's out of the strike zone. But when it's in the strike zone, we want to stick it, hold it there, give good presentation to the umpire. Quiet head. We want to make sure that our head is quiet. The more movement in our head, the more that the umpire is moving, our body's going to end up moving. We're not going to have good path to the ball, and maybe we're not going to have a clean catch. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're quiet with our head, so we keep our eyes on the ball. So talking about pre-pitch, we want to allow target. Okay, we want to hold that target up as long as we can here, so the pitcher has a target to throw to, and he's got his eyes on the target. Once that pitcher breaks his hands, that's when we're starting to relax our wrist. We drop in our wrist, we're working on our rhythm and timing and staying under the ball. Okay, so we want to stay there as long as we can until he breaks his hands, because we don't want to move our glove too much, because then it messes with the eyes of the pitcher and we don't want to ruin his focus. So like I said before, wide pocket allows the ball to have a bigger spot to get into your glove, and we don't want to move the glove as much. We want to be on time to the pitch. If we're late, we're going to miss the ball, or the ball's going to be rattling, and we're not going to be able to get a clean catch. And our setup, we want to make sure that we're setting up right on time. You don't want to set up too early. You don't want to set up too late. You set up too late, now you're messing with the vision of the pitcher. You set up too early, now you're giving the pitches away, because the batter could look back and now he sees what location that you're going. So here we have one of our pitches at Lakeland, loud target, relaxes the wrist, stays underneath, elbow stays slightly above the glove. Now he's going to do that in a 2-point stance, and then he's going to go down to one knee and work the same way. I'm gonna get through this a little bit quicker here. Receiving, these are some drills that we do here at Lakeland. The first one, we got a wiffle ball machine. It's the personal pitching machine. So we're gonna work on receiving here with our mini blue glove and working on pocket awareness. Our second drill, I'm up high, and we're gonna work on elevated throws, working on that negative angle going downwards from the pitcher. Then we're gonna go into our rolling ball receiving drill, staying under it, thumb down, working the ball into the zone, and then a pick ball. Now this is our catcher on the right, very good catcher, Houston commit. He's more of a traditional, keeps his glove here, but he stays under the ball majority of the time. Then we got our rapid fire drill, our receiving, and then our roving glove, working on different paths to the ball early, making sure our pocket is to the ball, working upwards. Then we got, like I said, I'm big on receiving, so we do a lot more receiving drills than any other drills. So we got our frisbee drill right here, working on our thumb down and working through the frisbee. On the right, we got our clean fuego receiving drill. I think it's really good. I throw the clean fuego a certain way. The catcher has to match the plane of the fuego, make sure when he catches it, that clean fuego is flat in the glove, and he's going to tell me every time whether it is or not. We got our keyhole drill, keyhole receiving drill. All-Star hasn't made this yet, but they're going to be making it out within a year. So what we do here, I made it. I took an All-Star glove, I ripped it out and put a lacrosse netting on it. So we work on that with our receiving. Then we got our J band, trying to control the pitch, making sure once we catch it, we have less movement as possible. Then our glove on our head drill, we do this to minimize head movement. So making sure that our head staying still. If we're moving too much, the glove is going to fall off. So that's instant feedback for the player. And then our inside drill, pitch inside, go on the glove side, making sure we're staying outside the ball, working it back in. So now we're going to go into blocking. We preach a lot here that glove leads the way of the body, okay? The body will follow, the glove needs to lead the way. Whichever direction the glove is going, the body will follow that direction. But if we lead with the glove early, we can make sure that if we miss the pitch or we're late to the ball, at least our glove is going to stop it. When blocking, we want to make sure that we're on time to the ball. If we're not on time to the ball, our posture is going to be bad, and we're not going to be able to block as well. We want to make sure that our body is in control. Be in control of your body, making sure when we go down that we're not turning sideways, we're square to the ball unless we're going to round the ball on the pitches that go outside. Drive the glove straight into the ground, stay above the ball, keep our eyes on the ball. Our most important thing is absorb the ball. Do not push the ball, absorb the ball. When we go down to block, we want to block with our knees in a little bit. We're gonna drop to the inside part of our knees to make sure that we have control of our body and we absorb the ball. We want passive movements rather than aggressive. We don't want to be aggressive blocking and push the ball away. We want to make sure that we absorb it. What I teach here is inhale before the pitch is thrown, and if you need to block, exhale. By exhaling, you're softening your body. Okay, you don't want your body to be too hard. We want to be soft. And then when we go down, we want to round our shoulders. Round our shoulders, be a bigger target. Okay, the narrower we are, the more the ball could bounce off us or get past us. So we want to round our shoulders, be a bigger target. So here's some drills that we do to work on that. Put a bat behind, make sure that we're blocking to the lower part of our midsection. Then here is a drill that I got from Yadi Molina, using the Valley training glove. When we block, making sure we see it, we're stopping it with our head to make sure that it stays in front of us. Then we got our one knee kickstand that we work on, making sure that we're able to block in different stances. So maybe we might not use this in the game as much, but we have in our back pocket if that situation occurs. We do some lateral blocking from side to side, always trying to get around the ball, keeping the ball in front of us, work it back to the middle of the plate. Then we have our walk-up drill that we do, and our timing blocking drill. Standing up, hands up, make sure we drive that glove into the ground, keep it on the floor, and be on time for the block. Then we like to be athletic and make sure that we're quick side to side. So we have a circle drill that we do. Lead with the glove, get around the ball. Then I have a resistance band. I'm pulling the catcher here, pulling them back. He's going to push off with that right foot and making sure that he leads with the glove and keeping the glove low. So with our transfer, Sorry, I just got ahead there for a second. Am I good on time, Coach?
Yes, sir. About 3 more minutes.
Okay, so run through this. We're talking transfers and our footwork and throwing. We want to be aggressive. We teach be aggressive on the field, okay? We don't want to be scared that we're going to make a mistake throwing. So we teach our catchers, be aggressive. We are hunting the runners, okay? If we need to back pick, we need to throw somebody out. We want to be aggressive, and we want to be fearless on throwing people out. Our setup, we're in traditional secondary, either a hybrid secondary and a one knee down. Most of the time that we're in our traditional secondary when there's a man on base. When throwing to the bases, we want to create momentum. We don't want to step back. We want to step slightly forward, create the momentum going forward. The more we step back, now we're just throwing all arms and upper body, and we're making the distance to second base longer. We want to make sure that our transfer is fast. So here we teach catch the ball here and 3/4 turn into our hand. We want to feed our hand. So we try to work on that a lot. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. These are some of the drills that we do here at Lakeland. Isolating the hands, let the ball travel, work through the transfer. We do a standing up as well. And then we work on our forward. We work on our footwork here, making sure that we're athletic, we're fast, and we're moving to the second base. Then I have a resistance band. It's on his lower back hit. We're working on driving that foot forward, and we're throwing off our back leg. And then we got our pick drills, balls in the dirt. Our players like that. It's been effective. So we work on that. Then we have an alignment drill, making sure that our shoulders are lined up and that our footwork is also lined up as well. Then I go into vision training drills. I start with our noodles here, our swimming noodles. You could add noodles. I do 2 here. You could do 4. And the catcher really needs to focus on that ball. That ball's coming out of the machine at a high velocity, and he really needs to focus on that ball. We do it with receiving and we do it with transferring. Then I also use the Victor ball. You can see here, a different light comes up each time. I tell the catcher which direction, which light is going to go in, and he has to get quick with it. His brain has to work faster. He has to react faster. So we work on that. And then we use the vision tracking discs that from slow the game down. We work on that. It's pretty hard there. It helps the eyes, and it translates into the game and it works well in the game. This is a training schedule that I do every season. I work out each week. It's different things each week. And each week, each day has different practice plan. We're going to work on different things each day, different drills. And like I said, priority is going to be receiving, and then we go from there. I got this from Coach Aaron at an ADCA convention, and I started doing it with a few of my players. They loved it. They have different progressions, and they compete against each other. We videotape it. I put an overlay box over it, and then they watch after it and making sure that they're receiving the pitches in the strike zone. They have a lot of fun with it. At the end, we have a little prize.
We power your freedom to create breakthrough digital experiences. Go big with WP Engine.
Then I'll do it real quick. We have our practice plans before the game and at the field when we go to the game. Before the game, we go over our game plan. We discuss other teams' rosters, what our catcher needs to know. We need to be prepared as always. So I make sure that I prepare our catchers each and every time for every game. Whether we played the team before, so I get the charts, show where they hit the ball, which player does what, and which player hits which pitch. So we go over that. We go over our starting pitching. We find out who's pitching that night from our head coach, and we make sure we go over what pitches that pitcher throws, so the catcher is aware of that. And then after that, we receive those pitches off the machine, and we receive velo off the machine. Then we get in our cars because our field is about 10 minutes away at Florida Southern. So when we get to the stadium, we're going to do dynamic stretch routine. We're going to work on that. We do our J-band routine. Then we get into the bullpen, and that's where we do some of our exercises: bare hand, receiving from all setups, 2-knee transfers, standing forward transfers, regular forward to each base, and then our blocks and block recovery and drive blocks. After that, we review our plays. Make sure that our catcher knows all our signs. We have a lot of signs, so we have a wristband as well, but we want to make sure that we go over that each and every game. After the game, we analyze the game video. We go over that game video. We look at what we did well, what we need to work on, and that's how we go on throughout the week. Also discuss things with them about the game situation and what they were thinking in those situations, or what they would have done if they had the opportunity in that situation. As you can see, to the left was a chart that I started when I first started at Lakeland. Then I evolved to a better chart. I give these charts to the players each and every game, after each and every game, so they see what's going on, what they need to work on, what were their times, what pitches they really caught positive, and which pitches that maybe they could have done better on. Then after the season, we give these notes out, and we go over charting all the pitches that they caught, what they need to work on in the off season, what they did very well throughout the season, what our goals are for the next season, and what will be our training plan for that off season. So we go over all that, make sure that they have all these notes and all these reports after every season. Right here is just a picture of some of the tools that I use each and every day. I use these training tools with all my catchers, and even with my training catchers. These are important essentials of our daily routines. That's all I have. If you any questions, or if you need to contact me, everything's there. My email, my phone number, and my social media accounts.
Excellent, man. Love the videos. Love seeing drill examples, Coach Davino. Thank you. I'm a little over our time, but hey, that's why we got that Q&A in there. We can just tighten that up a little bit if need to. So great stuff. Let's do Q&A. Any catching questions? Fire